food. If you finish, they replace it. So healing is the normal thing that heaven ensures that is there for the children. And then it says healing in Jeremiah 30 verse 17 is our covenant promise. I will restore health unto you. It's a covenant promise. And there are lots of covenant promises in scripture. Time will fail me to start naming them one after the other, where God promises us divine health. God promises to heal. God promises to restore. So man can live in divine health. So they are few their mind to die. Everybody read Psalms 118:17 with me. Want to go? I shall not die, but live and declare the works of the Lord. So purpose will always be attached. What is the purpose of living here? What is the purpose of living here? So the psalmist, to have this emphasis on his living established by God, he has to establish the purpose of that living. That's decision. I shall not die but live. Decision is so powerful that God will live a good life will not die. And the Lord said, behold, the people is one, and they all have one language. And this thing they began to do. And now nothing will restrain them. Nothing will be restrained from them, which they imagine to do. Imagination and decision are brothers. The word imagination, they also mean this I will live to my old age. And when you decide, you speak. Decision is as powerful as nothing can detach a man who is decided. Number two factor you have to consider if you want to enjoy life in good health is that you must enforce the will of God for you. 3 John 2 says, I wish above all things that thou mayest prosper, and even as your soul, you must enforce God's will. Now, if the federal government makes a law and no one enforces that law, will that law come to play? No, talk to me now. If you do not enforce God's will, which is God's law, over your life, it won't come to play. Does the law exist? Yes. Can people still live against the law? Yes. Why? No enforcement. And so what's the work of the law enforcement agent? To enforce the law. So you can stand and say, this is not what God said. Look at Proverbs chapter 18 verse 21. It said, life and death are in the power of the tongue. Life and death. Life and death. Even the kind of life you live is in what you say. And so if you speak life, you live. If you do not speak life, you will not see life. Proverbs 18:21. And so what are you supposed to say every day? I will live. God's plan is for me to live. I will not die before my time. No power can take me before my time. Let's read it together. Want to go? The A part of it. Death and life are in the what? Are in the what? Are in the what? And they that love it shall eat the fruit of it thereof. If you love death or love life, you will eat the fruit of it thereof. By your words, by your declarations, by your pronouncement. What do you say every day? Enforce it. God says, I will live. Job 6:25. Job 6:25 says, how rightful are the right words. How forceful are the right words. So it means, he said the power of the tongue, the power of the tongue. So the tongue has power. And saying how forceful are right words, it therefore means right words are very forceful. It can pierce in the realms of the spirit. It can break through in the realms of the spirit. Enforce it. Look at it. Job 6:25. Let's read it together. One to go. How forcible are. So how do I convince Sister Faith to love me? Sister Faith, how are you doing? Do you know I love you so much? I want you to be my friend. So what will I do for you to be my best of friend? Sister Faith, you know that every time I look at your eyes, Pastor Faith, do you know that they hear you? Pastor Faith, and you start talking. Over time, the Faith has said, please go. Please go. After a while, does not say, please go again. What does she start saying?